Namaskar. Today we are going to talk about I and my. And the story of I and my takes us to the story of Frankenstein. Frankenstein, as we all know, is a story that was written almost, we all know means at least those of who amongst us who've kind of read English literature or are exposed to English literature would know the story of Frankenstein, which was written almost 200 years back. We are in 2021, and this was 1818, so more than 200 years back. And the story has survived, so in that sense, it's a classic. Many believe it's one of the first science fictions ever written. Well, the story of Frankenstein is very interesting because it was based on this character, Victor Frankenstein, who was a scientist who created this creature. Now, erroneously or mistakenly, people do believe when they talk about Frankenstein, they actually talk about the creature. But in the story, the real name of the character, Frankenstein, was Victor Frankenstein, who was the creator of this creature, the scientist. But anyway, the point is that the story has got so famous and so popular that today Frankenstein, as we know, is a standard terminology, is almost a word which goes on to mean anything that you create which grows up to engulf you is what is called a Frankenstein. Monster, it has this monstrous kind of a connotation to it, which really, so what has that got to do with our Karma Yoga for 21st Century's Fit for Life program? Well, in order to understand that, we got to go back to the point where I started, which was when I mentioned that today we are going to talk about the story of I and my. Now, what's the difference between I and my? Well, it's clear that I is me, and my is what I own. Well, what do I really own? Simply speaking, I might look at the xylophone and say that, well, I own the xylophone, yes, because I bought it one day somewhere, and when I bought it at the store, the storekeeper gave me a receipt, and that kind of legally ensured that it became mine. It got transferred. Before that, it was someone else's, the great person who's created this. And I must one day talk about the creation of this also, but that's for a different day. But the great person who created this probably thought it was his, and then he sold it to someone, so this process of buying and selling, trading, etc., exchange, this kind of puts a stamp on what is mine. So that's one way of thinking this is mine because I bought it, I paid for it, I paid something for it. Well, another way of thinking about mine, whatever is mine, is by thinking if I know how to use it, if I use it. If I didn't know how to use this, I wanted to make this sound, but I didn't know how no one really taught me, and I was doing, and I wasn't able to make this sound, I would slowly lose my kind of interest in this because it wasn't serving my purpose. I wanted this sound, but I was not being able to make this sound. I was only making this sound. So it didn't serve my purpose. If it doesn't serve my purpose, I lose interest in it. It no longer is mine. If I take this conch and if I'm people, this is very common. People try to blow this, unable, after some time they lose interest, it's no longer theirs. Whereas you can use this, you know how to blow the conch, so you practice, you do your sadhana, and it becomes yours. Why? Because you're using it. So what we use becomes ours. We own what we use. The other way of thinking about using is controlling, what we control. If I wasn't able to control this, it was very heavy, it fell down, I wasn't able to manage this, control this, then I would kind of feel it is not mine. I would lose ownership. So stuff that we can control, we can manage, is what we call our own. So think about this body. Is it me or is it mine? Of course, it's my body. This is not me. It's just my body. As Sadhguru says, it's stuff that you have accumulated over the ages. And we know that. We are eating, we are drinking, and we are breathing, and through all of that, we are just accumulating stuff in this body. And what about the mind then? Is that me? Well, no, that also is mine. We keep saying that it's my mind. Your mind has gone insane. So your mind, my mind. We know when we are talking about the mind, we are again talking about something that is mine, something that's not me. But erroneously, mistakenly, and by habit, sometimes, not sometimes, almost all the time, it's our habit to confuse between what is mine and what is me. What is I and mine constantly gets mixed up. So we all have this constant habit of confusing between I and mine. My body, I kind of point at it and see me. This is me. But I'm pointing at my body. I'm pointing at something which is mine, not me. That's the confusion, because we are so used to using this confusion. Okay, think about your likes and dislikes. Something to do with your body-mind process. What you like is something that you identify with, and you say that's me. If you like playing the guitar, you kind of try to covet a guitar, and finally you get a guitar, you own it, and you master it. You are the master. Now you master playing the guitar, you're the master of the guitar. It's your guitar, and you love it, and you like playing the guitar. Now when it gets snatched away from you, you feel that someone is snatching you away, someone is taking you away, not just what is yours away. I mean, you feel depleted if your guitar is gone. Just like someone violates your body, takes something, does something to your body, you feel violated. You feel, I have been violated, not something that is mine that has been violated. So this identity of me, I, with mine is a constant confusion we live with. And why not? Because right from the time that we were born, we learned to survive by actually creating this identity with whatever was mine. So I had to feel that this was me, this body. Initially, I didn't have a control over this body. I couldn't even control it to the extent that I could move myself from here to there. I wasn't in control of my hands, legs. They would go one direction, and slowly, with the motor skills, as they say, I got control. I didn't have control over how I would hold a pen and move it on a piece of paper. But as I learned how to do that, I learned how to write, and I was controlling my fingers, or I was strumming the guitar, I was playing the tabla, or I was doing computer programming, whatever. I mean, through my fingers, I controlled my fingers, and I controlled the pen, the instruments, the keyboard, and so on and so forth. So this fingers, which was mine, I started thinking this is me, believing this is me, of course, and extended it. The keyboard on which I typed, which I controlled, or the guitar which I controlled, I thought it was me. So when it got snatched away, I felt violated. So when something happens to the fingers, it pains. I feel pain in me, not pain for something that is mine. So the pain started making me believe that my was me. And by extrapolation, mentally, whatever I liked, when that got snatched away, I would think I was being snatched away. I was losing myself. So this confusion is something that helped us survive, actually, because had we not learned how to control this body, we would not have survived. Had we not learned how to control the stuff that we can control with this body, we would not have survived and grown and thrived. So all the stuff that we control, we kind of start believing that is me. And in that, we somehow lose sight of the me. Now, the objective of the Karma Yoga for 21st Century Fit for Life program is to give back that you to you, is to give back so that I can re-own that me. I have somehow lost the Frankenstein that I have created with all that I have believed is mine. The mine, whatever is my creation. Me has created. I have created whatever is mine. So I have created mine. But this mine has grown so big that my likes, my body, my mind, my dislikes, my stuff have grown so big. My property, my bank balance, my property papers, my receipts, my intelligence, my beliefs, my thoughts, my opinions, all of the stuff that is mine have grown so big that today it is actually engulfed and completely eaten up I. So where do I find me or I? Well, the sadhana paddhati that we engage in every day, the Karma Yoga for 21st Century Sadhana paddhati, or the process of creating your own daily practice, daily routine, is a way to find yourself. It's a process by which you are differentiating yourself from everything that is yours. Because throughout the day, as you are working, as you are engaged in your life, in your karma, in your actions, you are actually doing this union of your identity with what you're doing, with your actions, with your karma. So you have to do your sadhana, your practice. In your practice, that's the time to really separate this, differentiate, so that later when you act, you can integrate. Then all your aspects, your tan, prana, mana, chitta, your physical, mental, energetic, spiritual, all the aspects of your being can integrate. But during the practice, you must learn also how to differentiate these. And differentiate these fundamentally from your I, from who you are. So the reason I say this is also because one of the most common thing that comes in the way of sadhana is your like and your dislike. Oh, I don't really feel like doing this sadhana today. Oh, my body is aching. I need to give it rest. I need to, I'm too tired. All this stuff, you need to understand. No, it's not I am tired. Your body is tired. You're mistakenly talking about your body as I. I am tired. By mistake, you're just kind of juxtaposing a quality of the body on you. Or a quality, I am stressed, a quality of your mind you're juxtaposing on you. You're transferring by mistake. Because the real you can neither be stressed nor be tired, is untouched by anything. That's the stuff. And it's not difficult. It's not just theoretical. It's very, very easy. That's why we start with this. I've explained this on another satsang. When you can hear this no longer, when the sound of the bell is no longer there, but you are still hearing the silence, the no sound, you are hearing that capacity, that stuff, when you are one with the sound, when you've been able to focus so much that you are listening to the faintest bit of the sound, and then it is no longer there and still you are listening to the no sound. That is swabikalp to nirvikalp, object samadhi with oneness or focus or concentration with the object to objectless. The object drops off, but you are still there. The subject is still there. So that pure subject is something that we've talked about. I don't want to get into it today once again, but it's very easy, it's simple, but it's just difficult to get out of the habit of confusing the pure subject or the pure consciousness from the object and the consciousness that is dependent on the presence of objects. So that you have to kind of engage in your practices, whether it's Pranlila Upasana or Shakti Stretch Aradhana or Stamiflex Arti or whatever, the practices that you're engaging in as part of your Karma Yoga for 21st Century Fit for Life program. You got to engage in this with clarity about who you are and what is yours. So that's the kind of profound stuff which connects the story of Frankenstein with the practice of Karma Yoga for 21st Century's Fit for Life program. That's all for today, friends. Take it easy and take care. Namaskar.